KWDC LP Stockton. morning, everyone. This is Liz Mansky here at KWDC. Welcome to the Stockton Art Showcase. I'm one of your hosts. With me is my producer and board operator, Blaze Rodriguez, and filling in today for Matthew Blackenary is our guest host, Joy Neese, who is and so generous with her time. Welcome, Joy. And also we have some guests today. We have Jocelyn Cande with Draw It Out, and she's brought with her two fine artists, John Thomason and David Vallejo. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming. So if anyone's interested, the Draw It Out is a... Well, Jocelyn, why don't you talk about that?
Jocelyn's going to talk about that. Go ahead, Jocelyn.
Yeah, I'm with an organization called Draw It Out, and basically we're a partner of Cleveland School Remembers. I'm not sure if the majority of you know, but in 1989 there was a mass shooting at Cleveland schools. And so the group is put together by the teachers who survived that shooting at that school ground back in 1989. But Draw It Out basically reaches out to different communities throughout Stockton, and they provide activities to the youth, which kind of provide them with information about what the youth is concerned with. A lot of times there's different concerns from the youth that we don't know about. One of the activities that we provide them is the Wish Flag activity, and basically they create flags that tell what wishes they have for their community. Let's see.
Earlier this year, Draw It Out, we had the Art Against Violence show, and John and David actually were in that show, and they're going to be talking about their art in a few minutes. But we're about ready to have another show. It's the Not One More exhibit, and it's going to be at the fairgrounds. If Jocelyn, you could tell us about that.
Yes, in March 2016, Draw It Out is putting together an exhibit at the Plant and Flower Building at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds. We're looking for artists that can provide different forms of media, artwork, whether it's painting, dioramas, sculptures, anything basically. And there is, we provide tours. Various schools can come in and take a look at the different artwork. And also we've got some awesome news that we just received actually. It is, we received a grant from the Stockton Arts Commission, and it's going to help us with promotions and marketing towards this exhibit in March.
Well, that's really exciting. I had no idea we would even be considered to
it's really awesome
to get a grant to put on an art show. But thanks to the Stockton Arts Commission, we really appreciate that. So we'll be doing a lot more promotionals. You're working on a bookmark right now?
Actually, I'm currently I'm putting together a bookmark that we're going to try and distribute to the various communities. It'll give the general information about the exhibit and the dates and times of different activities. The artist's reception is Sunday, March 6th from 3 to 5. The spoken word event is Friday, March 11th from 6 to 8. There will be an afternoon of music and dance on Sunday, March 20th from 3 to 5. And a panel on art activism on Thursday, March 31st from 6 to 8. So we have a pretty full schedule ahead of us for March next year, but we are totally looking forward to it.
Yeah, so those events are just about every week in March. You can go out to the fairgrounds and see the exhibit, come to all of our events, listen to spoken word, see music and dance. And we're still looking for artists and performers for the event. So please go on to clevelandschoolremembers.org, and there's an application there under Draw It Out. We've also added the tour page. If you want to request a tour to see the exhibit, you can fill out all your information, and we'll schedule that tour for you. So what else are you doing, Jocelyn?
Well, I'm putting together an art piece as well. I'm probably going to put something together in digital art form because I'm not very good with oils or any kind of actual hands-on media, but I'm pretty okay with digital Illustrator or Photoshop stuff. So I'm going to try and see what I can come up before then.
Yeah, I really liked your piece last time. It really was impactful. Can you explain that?
That was more of like found items. I put together rope, fabric that was dirty, fabric with bullet holes, and another one that was ripped. And it was supposed to symbolize some of the really horrible events that kind of take place with the youth now. Driving under the influence, suicide, bullying, and as well as gang-related things. So it had 4 different panels. It's kind of symbolizing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I think that's one thing that's important about Cleveland School Remembers. They're a group that, they are trying to advocate for gun safety and less gun violence. But Draw It Out, what they saw a need for was having art communicate your feelings instead of getting involved in all these horrible things with gangs and all. So you can really heal yourself through art. So
Right.
that's why we started that Wish Flag project.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. So the Wish Flag project, like I said, it basically allows kids to communicate to us on what their concerns are within their own community. I live in the community of Weston Ranch, and the kids' concerns there are mostly gunfire and speeding cars, and also just trash, debris that's just strewn all over some of the main roads. And I think it's different from each community. There's going to be communities on the east side of 5 that's going to have totally different concerns, but there is one. They all pretty much tie in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that we have a lot of graffiti. I live by Van Buskirk. We have a lot of graffiti and the speeding, and so there are a lot of similarities with what people are concerned about. We just want a safe, beautiful place to live. And what I was impressed with was your Weston Ranch Community Association. They are getting together to try to solve some of those problems.
Yes, they actually go out and do like a community cleanup every month, except for not during the holidays, of course, but starting again in January. They will start doing community cleanups once again.
And so that's what we're trying to encourage, just different neighborhoods in Stockton to take control and
take action.
Take action to solve their own problems.
Be a part of your community.
Yeah.
Be a part of your local community. I mean, I think I remember, and probably you too, when we were growing up. Usually, the neighbors were everybody's parents,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
paid attention to what was going on, and make sure that all the kids are safe and that they're not doing unsafe things, but that they're not afraid to speak up and tell people in the neighborhood to slow down and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, actually took about 20 years for it to happen, but they've just put in some speed bumps right in my neighborhood, so that's helping a little bit.
But it does take a long time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I lived in a
yeah,
neighborhood that
yeah.
had recently gotten speed bumps, but they had requested them and had gone through the process about 6 years prior.
Oh, yeah.
And it took that long for them to finally get speed bumps in their neighborhood.
So anything else you'd like to talk about, Jocelyn?
No, actually, looking forward to the 2 guest artists that we have here, and I kind of am interested in what they're going to come up with for March.
And we will get back to them once we get to our break. But in the meantime, I would encourage our listeners to visit the website, clevelandschoolremembers.org. It is a really interesting website, and has a lot of information about public safety and gun violence prevention, not to mention resources. And there's a specific tab for the Draw It Out organization that you can go to, where you can get information about what Draw It Out is about, and also the upcoming events, the Art Against Violence in 2016. And there's also going to be a call for artists in 2016, and you can also request a group tour. So I would encourage all the listeners to visit this valuable website, especially since the climate of our country has escalated into with the advent of social media and instant news. A lot of the gun violence, and it isn't just the gun violence that children are concerned about, and that's the whole purpose of Draw It Out, is to give children a voice and to be able to express their feelings about what's going on in their surroundings and the world that we're providing them for, and it's a real eye-opener. So when we come back, we will have one of our guest artists. Right here we have John Thomason and David Vallejo.
Yeah, we'll be talking to David Vallejo next. And he was in the Art Against Violence exhibit earlier in 2015. So he can tell you what he's up to now.
So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to 93.5 KWDC here at the Stockton Art Showcase, the voice of Stockton.
This is John Mayer for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. On stage, it's fun to push the limits and see where it takes me. Off stage, it's a different story. Get behind the wheel of a car after you've been drinking and you risk causing a crash, hurting, or even killing someone.
Fathers, be good to your daughter.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Bruce Hornsby. You know the expression, practice makes perfect? Well, it certainly is true in music. And practicing music is one of the most valuable ways a student can spend his time, or her time. A young person who studies music reinforces teamwork, communication skills, self-discipline, and creativity. All qualities kids need to be successful in their other schoolwork. Parents, think about encouraging your kids to try out several instruments at school until they find the one that they really like, the one that really clicks for them. Get to know the school's music teacher and encourage your child to join school music ensembles. And please don't forget that your kids all have an instrument that's free and sounds wonderful, their voices.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
He would come home after a hard day and just start in on me, like, hey, how was your day? How was school? What you got going on? I mean, it gave me the chills.
My father would drive me all the way to the mall. He wouldn't stop until we were right in front of my friends. And oh my God, when...
I wanted to go to Europe, and he seriously made me get a job to pay for it. And that one time...
He insisted on taking us to the movies, even though he knew Steven totally worked there and I was totally in love with him. And...
The time I got this wicked cool scorpion tattoo on my shoulder, not even the whole arm, just the shoulder, and he grounded me for 2 weeks. 2 weeks! And oh yeah.
When I wanted to major in ceramics, because I'm way good at it, my dad told me I'd have to pay my own tuition. Duh. How am I supposed to earn that kind of dough making pottery?
Embarrass them, horrify them, freak them out. Don't worry. They'll appreciate it. Eventually. A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative and the Ad Council. Have you been a dad today?
And welcome back to the Stockton Art Showcase here at KWDC. If you're just tuning in, I'm Liz Maskey, one of your co-hosts, and with filling in is Joy Neese. And we have with us people from the Draw It Out, Jocelyn Conde, and a couple of artists who are going to talk to us about what they're working on. You can always visit our website, kwdcradio.org. You can also go to youtube.com, do a search for KWDC Radio to find a live stream. And
So I'm going to be talking to David Vallejo right now. He was in, we Draw It Out. We had a show earlier this year. It was called Art Against Violence. So David, how did you find out about the show, and why did you want to be in it?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how I found out. I don't know, through somebody who knows somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But when I heard about it, I thought, wow, this is a good thing, because it's something that just, we need things like this, and especially for creative people as well as people of all ages, just to have their voice in addressing these issues of violence. And so I thought, yeah, I want to be a part of that, and that's really good.
And so I know you did some paintings, some portraits. What were those about?
Yeah, at first when I thought about the subject matter, art against violence, I thought it was okay. Violence, don't do it. It's pretty straightforward. And then I started studying the issues of violence, domestic violence, gun violence, etc., and learned that it's actually a pretty complicated and complex issue that has a lot of levels to it. And so rather than take on all those levels at once, I thought I'd personalize it and draw upon my own experiences. And so those portraits, two of them are just made-up faces of children, and one of them is a self-portrait of me as an adolescent. And the focus is children, and the message that I want to give with those portraits is that a society that nurtures and values its children is a society that nurtures and values itself. Mm-hmm. And that if we're really trying to bring up our kids, and I'm kind of speaking as a parent here too, but also as one that interacts with children, we have such an effect on children, and when we give them good things, then they're going to produce good things. And in the process of us trying to do that, we're also going to make ourselves better.
Sure. So you mentioned you did one about yourself. What was that?
Okay. That one addresses racism. And I get this question thrown at me in a variety of ways. Usually it's just an honest question. But the title of the piece is Are you Mexican or are you a white boy? And looking at me, I can tell people wondering, well, are you? And it's an honest question. I don't mind. But sometimes it's negative, meaning that okay, if you're Mexican, then you need to act more Mexican, okay? Or if you're a white boy, then that's something you shouldn't be. Okay, what's wrong with that?
Right.
And I am what I am. My mom is Irish and Norwegian, and my dad is Mexican. And and even when we talk about Mexican, that's a variety of different backgrounds too. So, and so racism can be a source of violence and a source of just not understanding or willing to understand our differences. And I think that's an important thing that we need to look at when we address these.
People just need to look a little bit deeper, beyond the surface, and not worry, what you are, if you're white, Mexican, whatever you are.
Does it matter?
No.
I hope not.
Well, I find that I find that really kind of bothersome, that sometimes that seems to be the first thing that someone worries about when they look at someone is what are you, instead of who are you.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's always looking, always trying to put labels on people. Mm-hmm. And I was interested in your technique. You included some words on the pictures.
Yeah, that's something I've been kind of experimenting with over the years, of putting words into my pictures, and these were collaged in, so they're glued in or adhered. But they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I want to make sure that people kind of sort of are steered in the right direction when they look at my work. So I guess it's kind of my way of cheating, of maybe making it 500 words instead of 1,000. And but also it gets you to think, and also I think when you look at the pieces, you kind of look at them and you think, okay, it's colorful, they're pictures of people, but then when you look a little bit closer, there's something a little bit more to it, which I guess kind of as an afterthought, that's how I kind of want to be looked at too. You might look at me, but then you look at me a little bit closer and try to understand me. Okay. You realize that I've got my differences and different things that make me me.
And actually, at the Art Against Violence show, we had a panel discussion, and you were one of the presenters. So I hope you can come back next year and be a presenter. We're going to have that panel, and you did a really good job then.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I really enjoyed that panel. I had all these notes in front of me that I was going to say, and I was really impressed. I was writing everything out, and then the discussion just totally went a different direction, and I just thought, man, that was great. And I think what was so great is not what I had planned out, but just listening to other artists, and just that I think we're all on the same sheet of music. Is just, this is an important issue, and I really appreciate the different things that people had to say about it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have planned for the next show?
Gosh, I think there's so much to say.
And when and where is it?
So it's the Not One More show in March.
You're going to be involved in the Not One More, okay.
So I plan on being involved in it, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to approach it the way I did the Art Against Violence show, in that I'm just going to really look into the issue and look into myself and maybe draw upon some more past experiences and see what happens.
Yeah, one thing, this new exhibit, Not One More, we're having a slightly different topic, is how violence tears us apart. Mm-hmm. So you might want to think about that.
And I really like that because for me anyway, I think, obviously, we don't want to inflict violence on someone, but there are sources of violence. There are reasons why people act out in violence, and I think for me, and I think what I'm going to do in the next show is just focus on, why would someone want to hurt someone, either physically or emotionally or spiritually, and what is it that we can do to replace maybe a line of thinking or a worldview, how we see other people. And going back to the racism thing, we have differences, but why is that a bad thing? I mean, I think it's exciting, and here in Stockton we live in an area where there are vast differences, a lot of different cultures, and I think that's exciting. And why can't we just be excited about our differences? So
and I mean, we're similar in so many ways, but then the differences we can learn from each other, and it makes us richer. I'm part of the Mexican Heritage Center. I'm so happy to be a part of that, and so I was thinking, what else are you doing right now? You said you're doing some illustrations.
Yeah, that's my primary work as an artist. I am an illustrator, specifically editorial illustrations. So that's magazines, newspapers, anything that's printed, and now everything's online too. So that includes that. So that's my main.
Where could the listeners find some of your work?
You can find me on davidarvallejo.weebly.com, and I brought my business card
excellent
here too, so
excellent. And what would be some of the publications where your work's been displayed?
My main client right now is Orlando Magazine, so Orlando, Florida, and they've got me really busy doing a lot of interesting projects, and I actually like them because they're a little more positive than some other magazines. They're really political, which I appreciate doing and I enjoy, but sometimes it can be a downer after a while. But they have a writer that just throws me any kind of topic, and usually it's positive and very refreshing, so it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's great. Well, that kind of keeps in the theme of what you've been working on, because we're talking about violence and underlying causes of violence, and we're talking about our differences. So many times people are threatened by differences rather than celebrating, looking at them as a positive thing. And I think that as adults, that's that's something that it's important for us to impress upon children, because that's what they're learning. Right. And I think that's where a lot of the youth violence comes from, is because they're picking up on our negativity rather than. So this sounds like a really great thing, and I'm really glad you're going to be participating in the event in March. And I will be going to your website if you want to let people know what that is one more time, and go ahead and spell it out for them as well, would you?
Okay, it's davidarvallejo.weebly.com. So David, R is my middle name, Vallejo like the city, .weebly, WEEBLY KWDC.com. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, that's very helpful.
Okay.
I guess it's time for us to go to a break. If you're just tuning in, you are listening to the Stockton Art Showcase here at KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. And with us today is Joy Neese, Jocelyn Conde of Draw It Out, and two wonderful artists who you just heard is David Vallejo. And coming up, we'll have John Thompson. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
KWDC, LP Stockton, 93.5 FM.
This is El Chapo, el famoso, famous Mexican drug lord.
What the heck? Hey, what's up, man? If you had to choose between different superpowers, would you go with, and you got two choices, flying or invisibility?
We choose our leaders and we follow them because they're cutting a path that requires, effort or energy or commitment that we're not able to put in. We agree.
Hey, this is Brandon Kisker, the voice of the Stockton Heat, and you're listening to KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
Hey, this is Blaze Rodriguez.
And I'm Liz Mansky.
And we would like to invite you to join us to tune into the Stockton Art Showcase.
Right here at KWDC. We have fascinating local guests
and cover everything from fine art to street art.
From local musicians to the Stockton Symphony.
We'll keep you informed about everything happening in the Stockton art scene and in the Valley.
So tune in at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday right here at KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
Complicated. Reciting the novel War and Peace from memory.
Uncomplicated. Giving a gift to a worthy cause.
Complicated. Passing a molecular biophysics final without ever studying molecular biophysics.
Uncomplicated. Using your financial resources to help others.
Complicated. Passing your driver's license exam in a Top Fuel dragster.
Uncomplicated. Donating stock to the American Heart Association. It's a simple process to make a contribution, and you avoid paying a capital gains tax. Plus, you can quickly receive the benefits of your gift if you donate by December 31st. To learn more about the advantages of donating stock to the American Heart Association, call 1-800-242-8721. Take stock in life.
Complicated. Building a 36-story log cabin with your bare hands.
Uncomplicated. Helping give someone a second chance at life.
So, it's my first day to be a big brother. Wait, so what am I going to do with this little guy? Maybe I'll take him to a movie. No, not big enough. A museum. No. I'll take him to a carnival. Yeah, we can go on a Ferris wheel or a roller coaster or a plane ride or hot air ballooning. It's got to be big. It's got to be huge.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Hey, Alex. I'm Felipe. So, what do you want to do today?
I was thinking maybe watch the game on TV.
Yeah, cool. I was thinking that too.
When you're a mentor, it doesn't matter what you do. See a movie, play catch, or just go for a walk. The important thing is spending time together. A little of your time means a lot to a kid.
This is Laura Bush. Help America's youth. Be a friend. Be a mentor. Just be there.
To be a mentor, go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org. That's bigbrothersbigsisters.org. A public service message brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Ad Council.
And welcome back. I'm Liz Mansky, and you're listening to the Stockton Art Showcase right here at KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. And I'm going to tell you about a few events coming up right now. One of them, and this is off of the clevelandschoolremembers.org website, there will be Victims of Violent Crime Support Group, along with the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Witness Program, will be holding their annual candlelight visual December 4th at 6 p.m. The event will be located at Weber Point. The event will include a short march, and family members are encouraged to bring an ornament to hang on the tree dedicated to those victims. And the extra ornaments will be available for families that need one. There's also another event happening on the 14th, which Jocelyn Conde is trying to find out about right now, and when she gets the information on that, we'll let you know about it. But for right now, let's have a look at what's going on, and this comes off of the visitstockton.org website, which gives you just about everything that you want to know about what's going on in the art world and other events around Stockton. Currently at the Hagen Museum, the Picasso Mural in Hawaii 5-0 exhibit. This is a very special exhibition which features prints from the Jack Lord collection. Actor Jack Lord is best known for his role as a detective on the original Hawaii Five-0 show. Framed Step into Art at the Hagen Museum from now through January 3rd. This is an interactive new exhibit on loan from the Minnesota Children's Museum, and gives children the opportunity to step in and experience art. Let's see, December 3rd, there's all sorts of stuff going on the Miracle Mile, live music at Mike, Bobby, and Werlow's, live music at the Mile High Wine Company. Also, the Stockton Civic Theater will be presenting Disney's The Little Mermaid December 3rd through December 13th at the Stockton Civic Theater. For more information, of course, visit the visitstockton.org website. Let's see, Kringle, a Christmas adventure at Reach Worship Center starting December 4th through the 19th at the Reach Worship Center here in Stockton. There is also Shrek the Musical, the Kudos Children's Theater Company presents Shrek the Musical Junior, beginning December 4th and running through the 13th. Please visit the website for ticket time, show times and tickets, and Zoo Lights at the Mickey Grove Zoo beginning December 4th and going through the 19th. If no one has ever experienced this, I urge you to go. It's just really, really wonderful. And the annual tree lighting ceremony is happening at Weber Point December 5th. So once again, visit stockton.org to get information on the events that I listed, as well as everything else that's going on here around Stockton, whether it be art, music, or other sports events, things like that. So, Joy, who do we have up next in the hot seat?
So we have John Thomason. And he was an artist at the Art Against Violence show earlier this year. John, can you tell us how you found out about the show and the art you made?
I found out through it, went on Facebook. It looks like I did like call for artists, and around December, and that's when it popped up. Okay. So when I saw that, I went, why not take a shot?
Okay. So what did you make?
I had one painting, large size. It was focused more on self-destruction. Mm-hmm. How kind of, if you looked at it, it looked more like a person. His face was looked like he was gonna just explode. Mm-hmm. Just kind of where the violence, the rage eats you up. You kind of lose yourself. And it was one kind of representation of them losing his whole body.
What was the title of that? Losing control, loss of self-control. Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while. And the other piece was mourning, more of the cycle of. It'll always continue with violence. Once something violent happens, whether it's a shooting, stabbing, any kind of a death, then usually there's going to be mourning and tears afterwards.
Sure.
And the way I presented it was someone's face, the tears were running down, and some of the tears were turning into bodies.
Oh, okay. Because I remember there was one that had the little face right in the middle of the picture, and then it looked like rays kind of coming out almost like a sun.
Yeah.
So was that the first one?
That was the no, that was the morning.
Oh, that was the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that really spoke to me a lot. So do you have any ideas what you want to do for this next show for Not One More?
I do. I've been playing around with the idea of most likely for using bullets. Probably doing something with a banana clip. Mm-hmm. Inside the banana clip, the bullets, I might just change it with bodies, people inside of it, or names. Uh-huh. So one of those things where some of the bullets will just be bullets, other ones will probably be a body, just because they could represent that.
Represents the victims of each bullet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the damage that each bullet can cause.
And And you were telling me you just participated in a show at the Impresso. It was about Star Wars?
Yes, it's called the Akbar's Art Collection. It's at the Impresso Coffee House over on Miracle Mile on Pacific Avenue, where it used to be the Stockton Royal Theater. It's still running up for about 2 more weeks. So, like, whenever the time of the day, you can go inside, get yourself a Frappuccino.
Yeah.
Check out all the art that's all on the walls.
How many artists were in it?
It was around 20 artists, a little over 20 artists. And all the walls are just filled with art. So
I gotta go look at that.
Yeah, even the centerpiece, like the one centerpiece from Roger Gwendon, he did the Star Destroyer, and he sculpted it out of like foam.
Oh wow!
So that thing's like it's hanging above like when you walk in.
So what did you make?
I did a couple Darth Vader pieces. One was a Darth Vader. I did it more of a since Star Wars kind of like draws upon Japanese influences. I did a Darth Vader where he looked more like a shogun, where like, his armor was a little bit more traditional. Another Darth Vader piece, a real large one, I did in I used spray paint most of it. It was kind of more of a luchador version of it. I'm heavily into wrestling, so I did like a very like a sleeveless Vader doing a force choke. Somebody thought it was white trash Vader, but I said no, it wasn't white trash Vader, just because he didn't have sleeves on.
So do you have any other things you're doing?
Yes, on this coming Sunday in Modesto is going to be the Central Valley Con. It's going to be, I don't really know what the address is, but it's going to be from like 9 or like 10 to 4 p.m., 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And located in Modesto. It's the same group that runs the Stockton Con here in Stockton every year.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of the familiar artists that you've seen around Stockton Con, like Ramon Villalobos is going to be there. Stockton Boy works for Marvel. There's going to be other like special guests from the illustration, comics, as well as actors and from the entertainment and media.
Is that at a theater or what?
I think it's going to be at a convention center.
Oh, a convention.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Do you know where they could go for more information about that?
It would go to StocktonCon.com. They should probably have
a link for what else is going on.
Yeah,
here.
and also if you search on like Facebook for Central Valley Con, then there'll be the Facebook will pop up as well.
Okay, and if people wanted to take a look at more of what you're up to, is there a place online where they can go?
Yes, I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter, and the same. All under the same username. It is at JOHNTDRAWS, John T. Draws.
Okay, great. Okay, so Jocelyn has been able to locate the information that I was talking about before. The candlelight vigil for those killed by violence is December 14th in the Fellowship Hall at Central United Methodist Church, across from UOP on Pacific Avenue at 5:30 p.m. Bring a photo or memento of your loved one. This is in conjunction with the nationwide visual by Newtown Alliance, Sandy Hook School. Everyone is welcome to honor all victims of all types of violence. Thank you for that, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Jocelyn. So, John, do you have any other thoughts about the exhibit, or?
Well, let's see. I'll be anticipating like what else everyone else is going to bring. The previous show, I think I recall remembering what David Suberk's his paintings were over there, and they were like pretty awe-inspiring when I saw them. Yeah. So, I mean, what else is going to come up? Who else is going to join up? I think I've probably spoken to a few other artists that I know from around here in Stockton about the show, and I'll just kind of pull out more, see if I can get some more people that I know to help participate in that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
Okay.
if they can go online and just sign up then.
And along with that, with the Draw It Out, there is the call for artists, and you can get information on the Cleveland School Remembers website under the Draw It Out tab. Remember that the Art Against Violence 2016 art exhibit, and the theme is Not One More. And the exhibit dates are March 1st through the 31st of 2016. Original artwork in any media is welcome. And for, again, extra information about that, visit clevelandschoolremembers.org, and the Draw It Out has their own tab that has information. And with that, we're going to cut to another break. Please don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Stockton Art Showcase here at KWDC 93.5, the voice of Stockton.
KWDC LP, Stockton.
Be inspired and listen to everything from music, painting, and poetry with Big Blaze on the Art Show every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. here at KWDC 93.5 FM. Every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. with Big Blaze on the Art Show here at KWDC 93.5 FM.
KWDC LP Stockton.
You're not the Cowboys whose quarterback went out for the season or half the season.
Hey, we're just gonna keep the Cowboys. It ain't about them right now.
Tony Romo likely out maybe half the season with a broke his cervix shoulder.
His cervix.
Whatever it was, right?
Clavicle.
Is
what he meant, clavicle.
Like Richard said, I'm a big believer that everybody's allowed to have an opinion, and just because you don't agree with an opinion doesn't mean it's not relevant.
Home of Delta 360.
KWDC LP Stockton, 93.5 FM.
Okay, welcome back. That was a short break. You are listening to the Stockton Art Showcase here at KWDC 93.5. I'm Liz Mansky, and with me filling in for Matthew Black Canary is Joy Neese, and I'm so grateful. She's got a way of rounding up some very fascinating and interesting guests here, and also with us is Jocelyn Conde from Draw It Out.
So, Jocelyn, why don't you tell us that news again? That's pretty exciting.
Oh, yes. Stockton Arts Commission grant. We were awarded just recently. So we can put it towards our budget for promoting and marketing the Art Against Violence exhibit that's happening in March 2016.
So they gave us a nice amount to help us with our upcoming exhibit, Not One More.
Yep.
So it's really going to be a fantastic exhibit over at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds the whole month of March, and we have a whole bunch of dates. Why don't you read those dates off again?
The dates are, let's see here. The artist reception is March 6th from 3 to 5. Spoken word event is March 11th from 6 to 8. An afternoon of music and dance is on Sunday from March 20th from 3 to 5 p.m. Panel on art activism is on Thursday, March 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. And we are looking for more artists. So anyone who wants to submit anything, we take any kind of medium. And we hope to see your art there.
Yeah, and so we are looking for visual artists, but we also need performing artists for all those different dates. If you could just go online and fill out the application, Cleveland School Remembers, go to the Draw It Out tab, and there's the application to say what you do, and we'd love to have you perform or do your visual art or performance. We also are taking tour requests if you want to come see the exhibit, so you can go on that tab and request a tour. And just fill out your tour group, number of people, date, and we'll put you on the calendar. What are some other thoughts, Jocelyn, about the importance of the wish flags? Because we've been going to all these different schools and events, and really we've reached over 1,000 people.
We've reached out to so many different communities in Stockton. And we have this really fun activity. It's called the Wish Flag, and it's where we go out and we have an impression block where we put a piece of text all over it, and we allow the kids to place and write down their wishes on this flag. And it's got to pertain to their community, any ways of improving it or making it better. And each community is different, is what I'm learning. And it's not just kids; it's also like high schools, like not just elementary school kids. It's also high school kids, and
even adults too.
Right, adults as well. Yeah.
And so we're all one of our members, Julie Shart. She started the whole Draw It Out, and she usually makes a sign says, "What do you wish for your neighborhood to make it a better or safer place?" So, it's time for us all to think about that and what we can do to make that happen.
Yep. And in turn, we take what the wishes are and we try and take action to make that wish come true.
Yeah, like Weston Ranch, so they're doing cleanups and...
Yep. A lot of the kids in Weston Ranch wanted a cleaner area, cleaner park. So once a month, there's community volunteers that actually go out and do a little cleanup within the Weston Ranch borders. So it's taken on a whole new thing for us in the community. It's making us come together and hopefully clean up and make those wishes come true as well.
Yeah, like the Not One More exhibit, it's the focus on that is how violence tears us apart. Well, art and starting to talk to each other, that's what can bring us back together, I think.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sure that it has brought your community closer together. And made it not such a mysterious thing when people get together to clean up and brighten up where they live and get to know each other. And I think that helps promote what we have in common as opposed to what separates us.
Right, and just learning to, hearing what people have to say and listening to each other, we're getting to know each other better. And so we just need to communicate and keep those lines of communication open through art.
Definitely. And I'm really looking forward to this next exhibit. This is our second year doing it. And it's nice to see the variety of different artwork that is possible. When we had it at the Mexican Heritage Center earlier this year, it was really interesting. It was like we had dioramas, we had paintings, we had found items, we had sculptures. It's awesome. And the plant and flower building in the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds is going to be another interesting venue. And if you haven't seen that building, it is a dome-shaped, it's a round building, and it's like right up at the front gate, so it's really easy to get to. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting exhibit.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it either. So is it kind of like a giant atrium? Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has like a river running through it with landscaping, and so there's like dirt areas where what we really need, people, we would like some garden art. So anything that you have, maybe with a stake, that you could put your art on in our little dirt patches to fill that up, and so we're really looking forward to getting some.
It's a great opportunity for those folks that are really handy with, good with welding, putting metal together, metal pieces, metal sculptures.
And it has a high roof, so we could string some banners or. Last time I was here, I thought about maybe kites or. Anything you'd like to hang from the ceiling, so we could get some fabric pieces. Let your imagination go.
So the sky's the limit on that one then, huh?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Well, we've only got about 2 more minutes left, so I just wanted to thank our guests, John Thomason and David Vallejo. And John and David, one at a time. Any last thoughts? And please let our listeners know where they can find your work if they wanted to see more of what you've got.
Okay, I'll start with that because I know I'll forget. So you can find me at my website, which is davidrvallejo.weebly.com. And I did do a write-up on my blog that's on that website.
Okay.
It's like the second or third blog post. It's a fairly new blog as far as the art against violence. So you can read through that, and it's very informative on my process and just what I was thinking of. But just, thank you, Joy. And
you're welcome.
And just for doing this, because I really appreciate it. And going back to the kids, as well as all ages, just working together to to address the issue of violence and just what we can do for positive change. I really appreciate that, and I think it rings a chord for all of us.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in. And John?
My Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter, John T. Dross. And for the rest of the show that's coming up, I mean, I just can't wait to see what else everyone else is going to bring, whether the artists that we know or may not know. Never know what you're going to find. There's, even for the show earlier at the Star Wars show at the Impresso, someone came in with some wood-burning pieces, and they were excellent.
Okay.
And
so don't forget, Stockton, that anywhere you go in this town, you can find art. I mean, it's everywhere. So once again, Jocelyn Conde, thank you so much. She's from Draw It Out. And real quick, can people donate to Draw It Out if they'd like to?
Yes, absolutely. Donate their time, mostly, too. Volunteers are definitely welcome for our upcoming exhibit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, then. So that just about does it for us once again. The very important website. Please visit clevelandschoolremembers.org, and there is a tab for Draw It Out, but the Cleveland School Remembers website has an unbelievable amount of really good information. And so with that, I want to thank Joy Neese for filling in. Thanks so much for coming, Joy.
Glad to do it.
Thank you.
And again, Jocelyn Conde and John Thomason and David Vallejo. I'm Liz Mansky, and I would like you all to remember that this program was made possible by San Joaquin Delta College, the Delta College Radio Television Department, the KWDC Foundation, members of KWDC, and listeners like you. Thank you so much. If you would like to donate or volunteer for the radio station, you can visit kwdcradio.org. And also don't forget that you can go to youtube.com, search KWDC Radio, and you can watch our shows live. I'm Liz Mansky for everyone here at KWDC 93.5, the voice of Stockton. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Voice is speaking out. Yes, it is. Who's calling? Well, I don't want to give my name right now, but we need to talk. Well, you reached the right number and the right show. What you got to say? Well, I can't tell you over the phone, but I want to come on the show. Can I come on your show? Why, of course you can come on our show. This is a show that is informational, motivational, and inspiring. So whatever.
Live at the Delta College Studios, KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
And one of those quotes is, los líderes carecen de amor y el amor carece de líderes. The leaders are lacking love and love is lacking leaders. Shakira.
Well, it just means that as people, it seems that we need to be more mindful of love each other, and to love them. And we do that, and we love.
Like even Tupac said, it takes skill to be real, because sometimes you want to say something to somebody.
You know, you have to be able to listen to them and discipline them when you need to, but then give them love and guidance as well.
Home of La Cultura.
You're now listening to Delta 360 on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. That's right, it's Delta 360. It's me, Matt Mackey, and I'm actually in studio today with He's a guest on this show, but he's not a guest here at KWDC. In fact, he's been around much longer than myself. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
You know, it's Big Blaze in the house.
How you doing, Blaze?
And thank you, Matt, for having me on.
Absolutely, Blaze. In case you weren't just listening to the radio like 5 minutes ago, he hosts the Stockton Arts Showcase from 11 to noon every Monday through Friday here at KWDC, and he's also a member of the student government here.
Yes.
What's your position?
I'm the Senator of Public Relations.
Senator of Public Relations. Sounds like someone who should be on the radio.
I manage the Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, so someone's got to put in that work and be the face of student government. And anyway, Delta 360, obviously, we try to always talk about stuff that's relevant to our campus and other college campuses and that sort of thing. And I figure it doesn't make any sense to have a show like this and never have a representative from the student government on to talk about, you know, student government, things that are important to you. And we may even be joined later in the show by Robert Duran, a.k.a. Effects 209. Who will be joining us, who is the president of the student body government here, the Associated Students of Delta College, the ASDC as they call it. So we'll be looking forward to having him on the show a little bit later. But the topic for today, and actually this is a little bit of a carryover from yesterday, is the idea that sometimes being politically correct and promoting freedom of speech can butt heads. And there's sometimes a conflict where people are trying to exercise freedom of speech and freedom of the press, but other people are so afraid of offending or being offended that they try to suppress freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and that sort of thing. And we talked about two examples yesterday, one at Wesleyan University where a gentleman wrote an article that was criticizing some of the fringe methods used by certain extreme members of the Black Lives Matter movement. And he wasn't criticizing the movement in general. He was just criticizing some of the people that are out saying, you know, you should kill cops and this sort of thing, which I think we can all kind of agree on. Whatever your stance is on Black Lives Matter, no one should be killing cops. I don't think that's the answer.
Nobody should be killing in general.
Exactly.
Period.
There you go.
Once you start saying murder and all these violent, you know, I get it. I'm from LA, you know, violent activism. It's cool, right? It's kind of edgy. It draws attention to the subject at hand, but at the same time, you're not really going anywhere with it. You're just adding more problems. You're not creating a solution. You're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem. And so I could see that, but at the same time, you know, I could see why these people get frustrated. And they feel like there's no other means to resolving the situation. But at the same time, you gotta realize, you know, that person, that police officer, has a family as well. He's a part of a family. He's a father. Or if it's a female, you know, if it's a male, he's a father. He's a brother. He's a role model in the community. And then females as well. You know, that's a sister, a mother. You know what I mean?
Also a role model.
Your daughter. You know, and you know, it's a complicated issue.
So the point is, though, he wrote this paper, or he wrote this article in the school newspaper that was criticizing some of these extreme tactics. Yeah. And because it appeared on the surface to be against the Black Lives Matter movement, a massive amount of students came down and they started stealing newspapers and destroying them and protesting and all this stuff. And eventually they got the funding for the newspaper cut in half just because they disagreed with what the guy said. And the idea is that promotes this environment where it's like, well, you know, I have freedom of speech, but I don't want to. I'm afraid to say stuff now. I'm afraid to exercise my freedom of speech because what kind of punishment am I going to get? And that's just dangerous, especially on a college campus where we're supposed to be promoting like free ideas and stuff. So anyway, I wanted to go over another example of this same sort of thing happening, and this was actually at Yale University. And I'm going to be reading an article from USA Today by Connor Friedersdorf, and he says, Professor Nicholas Christakis lives at Yale, where he presides over one of the undergraduate colleges with his wife, Erica. She is a lecturer in the early childhood education and shares that duty. They reside among the students and are responsible for shaping residential life. So they're not just like, you know, teachers that live off campus and they come to school, they do their class and leave. They actually live on campus around and with other students and help with the residential life there on campus. And before Halloween, some students complained to them that Yale administrators were offering heavy-handed advice, quote-unquote advice, on what Halloween costumes to avoid. Erica Christakis reflected on the frustrations of the students, drew upon her scholarship and career experience, and composed an email inviting the community to think about the controversy through an intellectual lens that few, if any, had considered. Her message was a model of relevant, thoughtful, and civil engagement. And I actually have the email here. Hold on, I got a bunch of papers here on my desk I got to sort through. Okay, here, I'm just kidding. There's not that many. I'm reading this off my phone. Here's the letter she wrote. And it's the Sylmar College there at Yale. So it's a specific college on the Yale University campus. And she says, "Dear Sylmanders," which are the students there, "Nicholas and I have heard from a number of students who were frustrated by the mass email sent to the student body about appropriate Halloween wear. I've always found Halloween an interesting embodiment of a more general adult worries about young people. As some of you may be aware, I teach a class on the concept of the problem child. And I was speaking with some of my students yesterday about the way in which Halloween, traditionally a day of subversion for children and young people, is also an occasion for adults to exert their control. When I was young, adults were freaked out by the specter of Halloween candy poisoned by lunatics or spiked with razor blades, despite the absence of a single recorded case of such an event. Now we've grown to fear the sugary candy itself, and this year we seem afraid that college students are unable to decide how to dress themselves for Halloween." So she's talking about how we've gone from back in the day where Halloween, people were afraid that kids might, get poisoned or whatever, to now we're worried about what they're dressing as and whether or not it's appropriate or offensive.
Wow.
Anyway, she goes through this entire email where she basically talks about how we need to have a more adult approach to this whole thing. Instead of trying to police what kids wear on college campuses, instead, let them wear what they want to wear. But then if someone is doing something inappropriate or offensive, have a conversation about it. Talk about it. Don't ban it, but bring it out into the light so we can all see. Like if someone's spewing hate speech, rather than saying, "Hey, you can't say that," I think we should be saying, "Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say." And then we're going to talk about all the reasons why it's wrong.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, "Oh, well, we don't want to hear that." Because what that does is instead of challenging us to have a good adult dialogue, it just keeps us in our little bubble and protects us from anything that might be offensive.
Just real quick, I'm just curious. What you said there was a list of costumes to avoid. Could you offhand any of the list of costumes that might have been offensive?
We didn't get the actual email that was sent to the students, and I don't know that there was actually a list of costumes, but it was basically saying don't dress as anything offensive.
Okay.
Whether it's racially offensive, religiously offensive, sexually offensive, don't do anything offensive for Halloween. Be nice to your.
To me, that's just so vague. It's just like that could be interpreted like however you want to interpret that. Like
right.
Anything could be offensive. Like, come on, like I don't know, but it's like if a kid dresses up as a pirate, you know what I mean? Somebody could take offense to that because it's like maybe uber religious people could take offense to that. Oh, the skull and bones, he's representing
death. It's death and hell or something like that. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like, where do you draw the line?
That's why it's like, where do you draw the line? And it's supposed to be a day for the kids to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then college students, if they're still they're going to college, they're free. They're still in that transition from being adolescent to becoming a full-fledged adult. So it's like, let them have their fun. Don't, get, all these rules and regulations. But go ahead, Matt.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. If kids want to self-regulate themselves and say, hey, let's choose as a group of kids to wear responsible costumes that's great.
Yeah.
I just don't think the authoritarians should be saying, don't dress this way.
Yeah.
And that's what she's saying. So that's basically Erica Christakis. Again, she's a teacher there at Yale. She and her husband both teach at Yale. Go ahead.
I was going to say, go on to say what happened to her, though.
Right, okay. So for her trouble, a faction of students are now trying to get the couple removed from their residential positions, which is to say censured and ousted from their homes on campus. Their home is on campus. Hundreds of Yale students are attacking them, some with hateful insults, shouted epithets, and a campaign of public shaming. In doing so, they have shown an illiberal streak that flows from flaws in their well-intentioned ideology. And I think that's important, and we got to run to a break real quick, but I think the students here, they have good intentions, and we'll talk more about it, but it's framing this in a less politically correct, extreme frame of mind.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the topic today. We may be joined a little bit later by Robert Duran from the ASDC, so stick around here on Delta 360. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter at KWDC_radio.
And we are back. You're listening to the Ryan and Repo Man Show.
I'm here, Repo.
Wait, where's Cooper?
Hello, my friends.
Yeah, what the heck, man? Where's Cooper?
Howdy, folks. I have arrived.
Okay, where is Cooper? I need peace and quiet.
I'm here. Sorry, bro, for being late.
Cooper, can you get your goofball gang out of here? Where the heck were you anyway?
I was on the toilet, bro. I thought you'd let them come in.
And that's what you get for doing your own thing. It backfires on... Dude, it's too early for this. Cooper, I see what you're doing over there. Where is the bell? The bell? Can you put the bell over here, okay?
Join the insanity Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on the Ryan and Repo Man Show. Only on KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
Cooper, where are you going? Don't keep me in here with these idiots.
Delta College invites you to prepare for your career this spring at our Stockton or Mountain House campuses and Calaveras High. Earn your associate's degree and save money. Many courses are transferable to four-year colleges. Train for your career. Delta College offers over 100 technical ed programs. Check out over 200 online classes. Apply for spring now at deltacollege.edu. See you in class January 19th.
Dwayne Johnson here. The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're now listening to Delta 360 on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
Hi, I'm Dustin Lynch. You don't have to listen to country music to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you just can't.
Just kidding. It's actually us. We're back.
What happened to Brandon?
I don't know.
He just disappeared.
No
man.
offense. No offense. We didn't mean to cut you off, but
What, dude?
you know, sometimes stuff gets a little bit out of order. It's live radio. You know, what are you gonna do?
Wow.
Phone rings. You got to answer it sometimes. Anyway, so topic of the day is political correctness versus free speech. I want to see at some point, because I know that there's some faculty members at this school who have a lot to say about this, especially those that are involved in our own student newspaper. And you know, some of the we obviously have a radio station, so that's mass communication. Newspaper, also mass communication. So
working on a TV station.
Working on a TV station, exactly. Another example of this that we talked about yesterday was at the University of Missouri, where you've got these protests about safe spaces going on campus, and I think at the core, those are good movements. People should be able to feel safe, but to think that you should be able to go in public and not ever be offended is kind of crazy, I think. And I think it shows that we're raising kids to believe that the world is different than it really is.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like
this ain't the Disney Channel.
No, exactly. Exactly. You know, the world doesn't have a rating system that you can say, hey, you know what, this wasn't supposed to happen in my day today, so therefore, and the problem is, here's what happened. Student journalists were trying to cover these protesters at University of Missouri Columbia, and they didn't want first of all, this doesn't make sense. If you hold a protest, don't you want the media to show up and cover it?
Yeah, of course. Or else it's like it never even happened.
Yeah, exactly. But they felt like they were going to get bad coverage. And so when the student journalist, there was a photojournalist and another reporter, they physically had them picked up and removed from the protest site. And it's like, what is the point? It's crazy. How are you gonna have your protest? You don't want it to be covered, but then you're going to take student journalists who have the freedom of the press, freedom to cover anything, especially if it's on campus, and tell them that they can't do that because you don't like the way that they're portraying you?
Hey, so what do you mean they removed them? Like they physically removed them?
There was a mass communications instructor who said, hey, I need some muscle over here to help get this guy out of here.
What?
And so all these other students that were part of the protest came over and physically removed the photographer from the area because they didn't like the fact that he was taking photos of them, which is totally his right as a journalist, especially a student journalist on his own campus.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway, so those teachers that were involved in that, they did get in trouble, and I think I think both of them actually resigned. They were asked to resign. Anyway,
well, of course. Well, I don't know. I honestly, I'm in the, we just mentioned we're in the student body government. I'm just being joined by President Robert Duran. And anybody who knows anything about protests or anything, that has to do with any type of activism, and who educated scholarly personnel would know that they were totally in the wrong for what they were doing.
Yeah, it's especially a teacher who teaches mass communications in journalism. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
So we are joined right now by student body president here for Delta College, Robert Duran, a.k.a. Effects 209. How you doing, sir?
How you guys doing? This sounds like a really beefy conversation. I would like to know what's going on.
Right. So the topic that I have brought up today is on college campuses, what happens when freedom of speech comes head-to-head with being politically correct. And so you've got students that want to say things and do things which to some people might be hurtful, and then you've got other people that say, hey, that's hurtful, you shouldn't be allowed to talk, you shouldn't be allowed to have a voice, and who's right and who's wrong. And so I gave some examples of this happening on college campuses where someone will say something that students lash out against, and it's not like the administration saying, you can't say that, you're banned or you're in trouble or whatever. These are other students complaining about students that say stuff. In one case, we're talking about Wesleyan University. A guy writes an article for the newspaper criticizing some of the fringe members of the Black Lives Matter movement that are calling for like violence against police officers and that sort of thing. So he writes about how that's bad. Well, that is a bad thing. There's better ways to go about getting your movement.
Violence only begets more violence.
Exactly. And so the student who wrote it ends up getting all kinds of death threats and hate threats from other students saying, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. They go and they steal a bunch of newspapers and destroy them.
Wow.
And they actually...
burning them and everything, or what?
Exactly. They actually got the funding for the newspaper cut in half by the student government at a school that is supposedly a liberal arts university.
Wow.
And the reason they said that they were taking half of the funding was to distribute it to other parts that could give more diverse opinions. So does that make sense? In order to make the opinions more diverse, you're going to take an opinion. You're going to take an opinion that's different than yours and get rid of it in order to promote diversity.
Wow.
Does that make any sense?
See,
that's hecka funny.
I have to speak up on this. It just shows how far gone we are when it comes to actually analyzing, the problem at hand. The Black Lives Matter movement. It's Black lives do matter.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And we all have to understand the fact that, there has been some discrimination against African American descent in this country. But at the same time, there's been discrimination. They're not the first ones. They're not the only one. There's been discrimination against Mexican Americans, Asians. All these other different ethnic backgrounds, and we get it. But and it's been in the forefront of the media. Numerous different accounts of a person of African American descent, being persecuted against. But at the same time, we got to realize that, that it's the subject is more complex, and these other students that are coming against this. Who was it? He wrote for the school newspaper. This writer.
Yeah, he was a writer who wrote an opinion. He wrote an opinion editorial for the newspaper. It was just opinion.
Yeah.
That's all.
And so the students, because they didn't like what the press had to say, they got the newspaper funding cut in half.
So that sounds like they want to control everybody's thoughts. Like, hey.
Exactly. Now, you and me and Blaze here, we're not the typical, 19-year-old college students.
Yeah.
We're a little bit older.
We're advanced.
We're special. When you were younger, did you feel like when you went outside, you went into public, you could feel like you didn't have to get offended? Like, if anyone said anything offensive to you, you should be able to, silence them?
Yeah, that's when we used to clown. That's where the word clowning came from.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk? Okay, you want to talk about me? I'm gonna talk about you. Like, you have to develop tough skin. If not, you're gonna cry all your life, and it's not gonna get you too many places.
So what's different with these kids? Like, kids these days, these are 18, 19-year-old kids on college campuses that are just learning how to be an adult.
Well, this is what I think.
Okay.
My opinion. So don't kill me, people, listeners, for my opinion.
Don't burn down KWDC because you don't like what Robert has to say. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but my opinion is, my dad always taught me to be a leader. Don't be a follower. So, if you feel strongly about something, and you feel strongly about something, then that's worth fighting for. But if you're just joining a bandwagon and just running with people like, oh, yeah, just to be more populated in that area, and you don't really realize what you're doing to be, just to have friends or whatever, just to be cool, that's follower status. But, you got to, each individual in this world, no matter what race, no matter what religion, no matter what sex, anything, you have to be one with yourself. You have to be in tune with yourself and what you believe. That's what a leader is to me. A person that leads his own life, that does not follow other people. I'm not saying like a leader, like, hey, all you people will follow me, I'm the leader.
Right.
You got to be able to lead
someone
your own life.
Someone who people want to follow.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not someone who's going to go out and complain about every little thing that they said this, they shouldn't get their show taken off the air or this or that. And actually, we're going to be joined here just momentarily by someone who knows a lot about being politically correct and respectful and never says anything offensive or outlandish on the radio ever. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Repo Man.
What?
Yeah. Did I not accurately describe?
Totally.
No, yeah,
I'm
okay.
Extremely we are extremely respectful.
Here goes the show.
And
there goes the show.
We are extremely respectful, and we make sure that all voices are heard.
Okay.
No matter how far-fetched or
no matter
absurd,
how offensive they are.
No matter how offensive, absurd, or whatever line, left, right, in the middle, upside down. And that's I think
side to side.
I think side to side. I think it's important that people. We're lucky to live somewhere where you can pretty much express yourself, and no matter how goofy it may be and how much you disagree with it, well, everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
So how afraid should we be now that we are having instances on universities, liberal arts universities in this country, where, in this case, a student newspaper got its funding cut in half because a guy wrote an article that students incorrectly thought was racist? Now, regardless of whether it was or not is not really the point. The point is they didn't like what the press had to say, and therefore they got the student body government to cut the funding in half of that newspaper. What does that say about our students?
The student government had to vote on that.
It was unanimous.
A unanimous decision.
So what does that say? And we only got a few more seconds before we got to go to break, but what does that say about our kids understanding the importance of free speech?
I think it's pathetic.
It's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
I think they got to open their mind more and not, what I'm saying, just...
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to have this conversation, because like you said, this is a place where you can have freedom of speech and all this stuff. But is it? Like, are we like, how much longer until it is like people are scared to say stuff?
Totalitarianism?
Totalitarianism, yeah.
Totalitarianism.
I know what you're trying to say.
To each his own, or to each her own?
Yeah.
that's
Whatever happened to live and let live, man?
Whatever happened to you got to live and learn?
Huh?
Wait, everyone's just very judgmental.
Yeah,
And,
it's real.
Critical.
I think a big part of it, though, let's also forget that the technology now.
Yes,
if you say something with this technology, if I have a impulse, I can automatically say it and communicate that to the world, and then I am held to that. And even if it's something I would not, after thinking about it, maybe I wouldn't have done it. And unfortunately, we don't live that way anymore.
Yeah, we're going to run to a quick break, and we'll be right back. I want to talk with, we do have 2 members of the student body government here in studio today, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's happening with Delta student body government. So we'll get it back into that here in just a few minutes here on Delta 360.
0.5 FM. Your donation makes it possible for KWDC to produce and broadcast quality local programming. Send your donations to KWDC Foundation, 5151 Pacific Avenue, Stockton, California, 95207. For more information, visit us online at kwdcradio.org.
You're listening to KWDC LP Stockton.
Did you just say giggity? Giggity. That's what I heard. Giggity. All right. By the way, I was told today that if we have a Halloween show, that you and I should go dressed as Yogi and Boo Boo. The New Day, which is the trio of Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods.
New Day, go away.
No, New Day rocks.
No, New Day sucks.
Home of Jeff and the Fat Man, 93.5 FM.
KWDC LP, Stockton.
Be inspired and listen to everything from music, painting, and poetry with Big Blaze on the Art Show every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. here at KWDC 93.5 FM. Every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. with Big Blaze on the Art Show here at KWDC 93.5 FM.
KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
I'm a huge fan of Lapis Lazuli. And you know what? I would say, if I was to judge you, I would say you are probably like Peridot, Lapis Lazuli, or perhaps Opal, who's Pearl and Amethyst fused. So I'm going to go with Lapis for you.
We gotta try to make sure our laws keep up with technology, and that's nearly impossible. So we'll find. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of revisions and new laws on the books.
He would come home after a hard day and just start in on me, like, hey, how's your day? How was school? What you got going on? I mean, it gave me the chills.
My father would drive me all the way to the mall. He wouldn't stop until we were right in front of my friends. And oh my God,
I wanted to go to Europe, and he seriously made me get a job to pay for it. And that one time,
he insisted on taking us to the movies, even though he knew Steven totally worked there and I was totally in love with him. And the time I got this wicked cool scorpion tattoo on my shoulder, not even the whole arm, just the shoulder, and he grounded me for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And oh yeah.
When I wanted to major in ceramics because I'm like way good at it, my dad told me I'd have to pay my own tuition. Like, duh. How am I supposed to earn that kind of dough making pottery?
Embarrass them, horrify them, freak them out. Don't worry. They'll appreciate it. Eventually. A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative and the Ad Council. Have you been a dad today? For more information, visit fatherhood.org.
You're now listening to Delta 360 on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. All right, well, we've got Robert Duran here for a few more minutes, ASDC student body president, and I wanted to give you an opportunity, sort of turn the mic over to you, and I understand you have some topics that are relevant to our student body that are weighing heavy on your heart. So at this point, I'm just going to turn the show over to Robert Duran and let him share what's on his mind. Go for it, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So college students are very important for our future. And a lot of us college students, like me, we live here more than we are at home. I'm here at college more than I am at home. This is like my life. Just like if you were working, you work 12-hour shifts. You're at work more than you're at home. So then you're around a bunch of people that you see all the time. So you would want to get a better connection with your fellow students. And, the way things get done in college, like things get passed and the way they recreate new areas and stuff for colleges, because the board of trustees and all the staff and everybody get together. So they don't have a lot of time to be talking to students and all that. But everybody knows that, these board of trustee meetings, even your student government meetings, you can go in there. It's public. It's public. You can go in there and you can listen. You can talk. It's just like City Hall.
Right.
So I hear a lot of students. I got love for a lot of students out here, and a lot of them got love for me. They tell me all their differences. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to get a group of students to come with me to the next Board of Trustees meeting, December 8th, and let them tell what they're telling me. I want them to tell the Board of Trustees, because the Board of Trustees, they're probably tired of hearing me. I'm just one student. So me as a president, my goal is to try to get these students to come to the Board of Trustees meeting, because any student on the college campus can go.
Yeah.
You listening right now, you can go.
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to go and have your voice, your opinion brought out and heard. So if you have a problem on the college campus and you feel like it's affecting not just you but more students,
mm-hmm.
you have the right to go over there and express your feelings.
Right.
And I didn't really realize that until I started getting into student government. I've been to city council meetings. I went and talked to some of the mayors, and I talked to them and they listened, and they was like, all right, next. But the fact is, I went there and I said that it's like voting. You can complain about who's president or whatever, but did you vote?
Yeah, so it's funny. I had the opportunity to do a show with Dr. Hart, president of our school,
and I heard it.
And we ended, the show ended on that exact. I think she said that exact same quote, or one of us said that exact same quote, because we were talking about how, students a lot of times will have opinions about things they like or don't like, but if you're not taking advantage of your opportunity to affect the process, whether it's taking a part in a survey or going to one of these meetings and voicing your opinion. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, because actions speak louder than words. So a lot of us got opinions on our city and on the school campus. So just imagine if we got together with other students that think like this, and they have the same type of thoughts and situations. Imagine how much more powerful it would be at the meetings when they express it as a group. What do you think happened with Martin Luther King? John F. Kennedy, they had groups of people that supported them.
Absolutely, it had to be unity.
Because they knew that they were talking for the people. Mm-hmm. They weren't trying to get on their own level. They're trying to make it right for all people.
Right.
So when you're doing something like that, all the people are going to follow you. They're going to love. They're not going to follow you, but they're going to agree with you, and they're going to want to help.
So when you go and you're trying to represent the students, and students don't show up to say, "Hey, we're with this guy," you feel like it's harder for them to take you seriously.
I kind of do, because I don't. I'm the president, but I'm not your average president. I'm not all suit and tie. I don't speak politically correct. I'm a human being. Right. I'm a real person. Just because I became student body president doesn't mean I'm going to change for anybody. I'm not going to try to be somebody I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be who I am.
That's a struggle, man. I've even myself have struggled with that, and but honestly, I've been learning that it's important to stay true to yourself, and because these subjects that Robert are talking about, there's some real stuff. We need the students to back us up. There's strength in unity, and when me and Robert say stuff, it only could go so far, but because we only represent, who we are. But if we all came together as a student, a student body, then that would be a force that would, that would be more prone to get further in our struggle. There's a lot of different stuff that's important. The bathrooms, for instance, has been a subject that's been coming up to getting more custodian. Hiring more custodians so that we could have a cleaner facilities for
students. Said that they hired more custodians, but I'm not seeing nothing changing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Another subject has been microwaves for the students to use in Danner Hall. They've actually come to us. What could ASDC do? We could only do so much. We could buy a new microwave, for the students, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be the students' responsibility to buy a new microwave. For the students,
and at the end of the day, you think of student body government. You think student government, they have money. They're gonna do these things. People act like this is us. We have money.
Yeah.
For one, we don't control money. all we do is plan the events, and we do things for the students. For
Right.
two, as a student government, you would think we would be funded, but really, we're not being funded. We get $11 from the Mustang Pass if the student chooses to pay that money. If not, we don't got nothing.
Yeah, I heard this where there's certain members of, I don't know exactly where it's coming from, that they're saying, oh, you don't have to pay for the Mustang Pass.
Yes.
And so that's why I've started seeing now on a lot of your guys' flyers, paid for by your student body Mustang Pass or whatever it says, because it's like, hey, this is what we're using this money for. It's not just it's not going in your pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
And if students all of a sudden don't have to pay for that kind of thing, how are you going to do any events?
Exactly. Yeah. So like, how could we? How you be demanding like?
It's $11. There are student activity fees
man.
at other schools that are like $80, $200, $11.
So people come around, they be like, hey, I want the free food for the events and this and that. So do you have your Mustang Pass? They're like, no. Why don't you have your Mustang Pass? Because they told me that I don't have to pay for it.
Okay, so here's a question: how do we get more organized? Like, it's a community college, so it's going to be a little more challenging, I think, at a community college.
Yeah.
But how do we get more organized? What's this like?
The whole thing about getting more organized is like there's professors over here, there's staff, and there's people that are in higher power that love the students' opinions and they love to help the students. Them people they can guide you, but at the end of the day, us students have to come together.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like anything in the world. If you want a better world, the people have to come together. So if we want a better campus, us students have to settle our differences and we have to come together and we have to be together as one. Like, because this college only exists because the students are here. If we weren't all going to school here, there wouldn't be no Delta College here. There wouldn't be no Dr. Hart. There would be no staff. There would be no faculty. There would be no teachers. So as students, we are the importance of this college. And I've been saying this since I've been around. I've been telling people since before I was even in student government. This is the way I feel. I'm just expressing my feelings. We are a powerful entity when we come together. But if we stay separated, what good is the power?
Mm-hmm. Right. So then the question becomes, what steps do you have to take to let students know, hey, all these things that you're concerned about, that you were worried about, that you think need to be changed, it's not going to happen unless we come together. Should there be more like mandatory meetings for student body? How do we bring people together? How do we make that connectivity?
I think that's a big part of what the college hour is all about. It's about bringing the students together.
Which is what, every first Thursday of every month?
Third Thursday.
Every third Thursday. Okay.
And we couldn't do our last one because situations. So
yeah, sure. Situations arose. Honestly, some of the complications had to do with funding and troubles that we've been having with the faculty and stuff like that. And when it comes down to it, I think it's because some of the faculty and other entities on the college campus don't take the students seriously.
It's like, okay, so like say I'm a student body government and I go into these meetings and these retreats and stuff. I can see, I'm not gonna say no names. I see faculty and staff that appreciate what I'm doing. They're feeling what I'm saying. Then I see other staff, faculty that just look away, like I ain't nobody. Like who cares what he's saying? You should care what I'm saying because I'm the voice of the students. What I'm saying is on behalf of the students, which makes this college, which gives you your job. My thing is, and I've told this to the staff and faculty in big, like I had hundreds of them in the Atherton Auditorium, and I told them, are you here to work because you love what you're doing, you love to help people, or are you here because you want the income? Because if you're just here for that income, you could tell in your work. You could tell the way you are teaching us. You could tell how you treat us like junk, how you look at us down, but then you could tell the teacher that's here because they love us, because they show the compassion in their work. So all you have to do is see how the teacher is working or how the staff member is working, whoever it is. If they're passionate what they're doing, you'll see it. If they hate what they're doing, they're just here for money, you'll see it. Sometimes you don't have to hear people speak. You can read body language, it tells you.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. No,
and I got to go on that note, but thank you guys for letting me be
here. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. Mr. Duran, thank you so much for spending some time here on Delta 360.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, take it easy.
All right, Big Blaze.
So that was Robert Duran, ASDC president here, and obviously you could tell, passionate man. He's got lots of things that he sees on this campus that he wants to improve, that he wants to work on, and you know a lot of those same things. What are some of the other? We got a couple seconds before we go to break. What's another hot topic here on the student body or the student government?
I'd just like to thank again Robert Duran for coming in, and he actually got me involved in the student body because he saw that I was trying to make a change in not only Delta College but in Stockton as a whole. That's why actually the whole reason why I got involved in the radio station is because I wanted to make a difference. So I'd just like to thank him again for all that he's done and what he's doing. And there's a lot of topics, struggles that us as students. They go through. One of the struggles has been, financial aid. Over there at the financial aid office, we've been getting a lot of complaints that they're not friendly, that they really don't seem like they want to help you. So we could get more into that, a little bit into that when we come back from our break.
Okay, very good. So we're here with Matt Mackey and Big Blaze Rodriguez here in KWDC. We're at Delta 360. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few seconds. Stay tuned.
Stay connected with us on KWDCRadio.org.
Live at the Delta College Studios, KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
That's why self-awareness is so important in the workplace, because of the fact that you know what your strengths are.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put anybody behind the desk that are afraid of people, don't know how to talk, don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they get frustrated and disgusted. In other words, they don't know how to communicate with people.
Home of the KWDC Women Innovators Network.
KWDC Above Gravity. Above Gravity raises consciousness about environment, health, politics, and community.
We are talking about air today. Air is a large subject, and we're touching on a bunch of different aspects of it. One of the most obvious is the sea of air that we live in, our atmosphere.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
That's the thing about me, is that if you're in my class and you have a talent, I want to hear it. If you say you can sing, sing. If you can rap. Yeah, and you did.
When you observe the universe at such a small scale, you can actually see this fluctuation in your standard universe.
It has been 20 years. Thanks for making me feel extremely old. It is 20 years since we started the PlayStation 1.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
You're now listening to Delta 360 on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. Okay, so we got to talk a little bit about student body government. We'll hit back on that in just a few minutes, but during this last segment, I wanted to go back to the political correctness topic and talk a little bit about some examples of extreme political correctness, maybe even political correctness gone wrong. What do you think?
I think so.
All right, let's see what we got here. This is five examples over the last few years of people being maybe too politically correct on college or on either schools or college campuses, whether it's younger children or college-aged adults. Okay, in the latest installment of Politically Correct School Rules and Policies Gone Berserk, students in Pennsylvania have been sent home with a permission slip asking parents to sign off on their Oreo cookie consumption. And here's what I mean. The teacher wants to know whether it's okay for middle schoolers completing a science project to eat the double-stuffed Oreos used in their experiments. So they want to do a science experiment, part of the experiment is for the students to eat the cookie, but in order to even have the experiment, this teacher feels like they need to send the students home the day before with a permission slip for their parents to sign that says, yes, my kid can eat a cookie in your class. What do you think about that?
I actually knew an individual here in town, as a matter of fact, outstanding member of the community, a pillar for those, who look up to him. But he, as far as, his beliefs and his family life, I know that he actually would not appreciate the teachers feeding his children cookies at school.
Okay, so
I know people that are that strict.
Even if it's like for a science project.
I don't know. They'd probably, would. They'd let it go, but at the same time, like they wouldn't like the idea of their children eating cookies, having that sugar consumption. I think it's preposterous. I think that type of behavior is kind of like crazy, but.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe it's not as absurd as I thought. Here's another one. Let me know what you think about this one. No-nonsense New York City parenting expertise, Lenore Skenazy, author of the blog Free Range Kids, writes, quote, there are 18-wheelers with brake problems, hungry bears just stumbling out of hibernation, and lawnmowers that suddenly shift into reverse. And then there's the unparalleled dangers of double stuff Oreos. That was her response to the previous one.
Yeah.
So, obviously, like what you're saying is there will be a few individuals here and there that actually have a serious problem with that. Okay, but here's the next one.
But you know what? At the same time, what daddy don't know don't hurt him. Come on, just give the kid a cookie.
Just give him. Oreos. Oreos. That kid's gonna go home. They're gonna have cookie crumbs stuck in their gum line. You're not gonna be able to hide it for that long. Okay, here's another one. In October 2014, a school district in Nebraska circulated a handout that suggested teachers should avoid gendered expressions such as boys and girls in case they alienate transgender students.
Oh my God.
Now these are like second and third graders.
Yeah.
Okay, these are little kids.
Yeah.
The instructions issued by the Lincoln Public School System, this is Lincoln, Nebraska, not Lincoln Unified School District here in Stockton, recommended using gender-neutral expressions such as calling all readers or hey campers or something non-specific like purple penguins when telling kids to sit down on the rug for circle time. What do you think about that? Would you have a problem with teachers saying to little kids, hey, boys and girls?
Yeah, and this is actually a big issue right now, and across the board, throughout all educational institutions, they're trying to make a unisex bathrooms, or anybody could go into a different bathroom, boys and girls. They're trying to take that away. They're trying to have just a general bathroom, and
right.
And that's ahead of a bigger subject. But what we're talking about here is now. I don't think at that age, second grade, that they're able to comprehend the subject, of
the sexual identity.
Yeah, sexual identity.
And look, here's the thing. I totally understand trying to get rid of traditional gender roles, like boys wear blue and girls wear pink, and boys go out and make money and girls stay home and raise kids. I totally appreciate getting rid of those traditional stereotypical gender roles, and I think that's good. However, I don't think teaching second graders that they are neither a boy nor a girl is helpful.
I don't think it is either. I don't know. I'm from kind of the old school, like, boys were raised to be men and manly men. You know what I mean? I come from a generation, like you're a man, like you go out and
you got to take care of your business
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm could be a little biased when it comes to.
Wouldn't you agree though that any girl could fix anything that a guy could fix?
Yeah, I could see that. There's girls mechanics, and they're actually pushing that right now. Girls to get into STEM majors, science and technology majors. So yeah, I could see that. You see it with the blocks. They got building blocks for girls now. But so yeah, that's as far. I think it's gone a little too far. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to identify each other as male and female boys and girls.
Well, and here's the thing: at that age, all you're doing is saying, "Boys and girls, let's sit down and read."
Yeah.
Like I don't see what the harm is there. And I'm not some kind of like doctor of whatever. But just coming from a common sense standpoint. And again, I totally appreciate not wanting to shoehorn in children into specific gender roles, but at the same time, I think it's kind of crazy to go to this extent. Okay, here's another one. The University of California at Berkeley is known for its extreme political correctness. It certainly lived up to this reputation in November of 2012 when the student government passed a resolution calling for a campus-wide ban on Salvation Army bell ringers and their red kettles at Christmas time. Like that, to me, that's one of like the hallmarks. That's how you know it's going to be Christmas, is when you see these people standing outside of Target or whatever. They're ringing the bell and they got the little red pot for you to put money in. The students at Berkeley, they didn't want any kind of Christmas connotation, and so they got rid of them. So there's another example. Here's another one, and I'm not sure I fully understand this one. Maybe I don't know if you've heard of this one. A Portland, Oregon school official served up a controversy in September of 2010 when she suggested peanut butter and jelly sandwiches carry racist connotations. No, that's right. You heard me correctly. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches carry racist connotations.
Against who? Or?
Well, I'll see if I can explain it. Veronice Gutierrez, principal of Harvey Scott School, a public elementary through middle school, criticized a teacher who mentioned a sandwich in a lesson the previous year. Quote, "What about Somali or Hispanic students who might not eat sandwiches?"
Who does not eat sandwiches?
Does that make any sense to you?
No, I don't understand who does not eat sandwiches.
Here's the thing. Even if you don't eat sandwiches, does a teacher mentioning a sandwich in a lesson alienate you or marginalize you in any way?
I feel like she's being the one who's alienating people by suggesting that Mexican people only eat tacos. I think that's what she's trying to say. All we eat is quesadillas.
See, here's the thing. That's isn't that more offensive?
That offends me to the fact. Come on, man. I was raised on PB&J, man.
Well,
my abuela, man.
I've got one more here.
PB&J, man.
I've got one more here. The topic today being extreme cases of political correctness, here's one for you. And this is especially poignant because it is Christmas time. It's December. Here we are coming up on Christmas. It's common for principals to favor holiday trees instead of Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah.
But Nichols Elementary in Frisco, Texas, went one step further in December 2013. The colors red and green were banned from the school's winter party, and the children were not allowed to make any reference to Christmas or any other religious holiday. One teacher there wanted to add an elf on the shelf to her classroom, but decided against it in case she would get in trouble. Now, I understand the ridiculousness of complaining when Starbucks takes snowflakes and Christmas trees off their cups, but like to me that's totally different. That's a private company that can do whatever they want. They have their own rules, and if they feel like that's what they want to do, that's great. But here you've got a school trying to basically make it seem like Christmas doesn't exist. So here's the thing.
I think that's just how goes to show you how far gone we have come in a society where we can't even accept Christmas.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm a big believer in the golden mean, meaning when you have two sides of an argument, well, here, for example, one people say everything about Christmas should revolve around baby Jesus and Christian things, and other people that say, we shouldn't even really say Christmas. I think the truth that's going to make most people happy is going to be somewhere in between. It's not going to be on one extreme or the other extreme. And as soon as we realize that and we get away from defending these extreme points of view and we find a way to come together and find what we have in common and celebrate that, we're going to be much better off.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, to me, like, I just feel baffled because it's like, whatever happened to, like I said earlier, live and let live. If somebody wants to celebrate Christmas and, and they believe, how they believe, let them believe that. If somebody doesn't agree with that, or, you know what I mean, as long as we're not pushing our ideals on to other people, there shouldn't be a problem. There shouldn't be a problem of the colors red and the color green. There shouldn't be a problem. Everybody loves Santa, right? If you don't love Santa, you're a Scrooge and a Grinch. That's my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't like Santa, great.
Yeah.
You don't have to celebrate Santa. But as soon as what you believe causes you to start trying to take freedoms away from other people, that's where your belief system might have some flaws in it, and you might want to reconsider. So, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. We are actually past time.
Wow.
So, Blaze, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This was fun. We'll probably have more discussions like this in the next couple weeks because Christmas is coming up, and these topics are very interesting, fascinating, and I think it's important to have this kind of conversation. So, you have been listening to Delta 360 here on KWDC. Make sure you stay tuned for more community-based programming on KWDC 93.5, the voice of Stockton.
Stay connected with us on KWDCRadio.org.
This is Annie Be Real with a spaz of realness here on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. With integrity, you have nothing to fear, since you have nothing to hide. With integrity, you will do the right thing, so you will have no guilt. A single lie destroys a whole reputation of integrity. Have the courage to say no. Have the courage to face the truth. Do the right thing because it is right. These are the magic keys of living your life with integrity. What is integrity? The quality of being honest and having moral principles. Strong moral principles. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Dignity. A sense of pride in oneself. Self-respect. We need to give each other space to grow, to be ourselves, to exercise our diversity. We need to give each other space so that we may both give and receive such beautiful things. I speak not for myself, but for those without a voice, those who have fought for their right to live in peace, their right to be treated with dignity, their right to equality of opportunity, their right to be educated. There are two kinds of pride, both good and bad. Good pride represents our dignity and our self-respect. Bad pride is the deadly sin of superiority that reeks of conceit and arrogance. Self-respect is the fruit of discipline. The sense of dignity grows with the ability to say no to oneself. Guarding your heart and protecting your dignity are a little bit more different, but important than clarifying the emotions of someone who's only texting back 3 words. Joy is the goal I